Hello and welcome back to the Cricket Nerds podcast. We're going to start by thanking everyone for their support they've shown us. We're back up to 750. After England won the World Cup and we lost all our views, we thought we need to bring it back by talking about the IPL, and it works. So thanks for your support. Keep subscribing, keep telling your friends. It's awesome. Anyway, getting into this video, we're talking about India versus New Zealand, and India absolutely hammered the New Zealand team. New Zealand teams looked pretty similar from what they saw at the World Cup, whereas India made a few changes, notably Rishabh Pant to the top of the order and Ishan Kishan opening the batting as well. James, thoughts on that? Because Rishabh Pant,
Rishabh Pant wasn't great. They still don't know what to do with him. I don't hate the idea of him opening in T20s, and I think use these inconsequential series. I was gutted when the first match got rained off. But yeah, like use these series to figure out what you want to do. It's what England did. It's how they got so good. And it's good from India. I like it. Ishan Kishan was a weird one because he made a lot of good starts. He kept on doing a cameo and be like, oh, okay, he's going to kick into gear now. And then he'd slow down again. And then he'd kick into gear and he'd be like, oh, this is it. And he never really just went for it and got going, which was a shame because he looked good for his 36. It wasn't quite there. He wasn't able to kick on.
It's not that attacking cricket that we're used to seeing him in, like the IPL from Mumbai. We're used to seeing him go out and strike it from ball one, and we just haven't been seeing that this year with him, I think, especially on that international stage. I agree.
Yeah. But talk of the town, Surya Kumar Yadav. He's a bit good, isn't he?
He's just a class above. I mean, to say India's batting scorecard is awful, other than Surya Kumar Yadav, shows that he's just different. He's on a different level. I think you've got players like Butler, Surya Kumar Yadav, and that's it. Everyone else is kind of a little bit below. Your next tier is like your Virat Kohli, your Babar Azam, those sorts of players. But I don't know.
Sky's on a different level to Butler.
At the moment, it's just insane. Just the ease of which he hits those sixes off Lockie Ferguson, who bowls rapid. It's just ridiculous, and he just takes apart spin. There's no weakness. I think that's what we're seeing. There's no obvious weakness in the short format of the game. I think if he was playing Test cricket, which I can see India picking him in the Test side now, I think in Test cricket there would be more weaknesses. But at the moment in 2020 cricket, I can't see against the white ball. It's just insane. And score 111 when the rest of your team is struggling to score a run a ball. It's just absolutely insane. However, it was it's weird because we saw a century, but we also saw a hat trick from Tim Southey.
Sky he'd got his century. He'd absolutely blitzed it around. He was feeling great. And the last over, I thought that India did a horrible job because it was Hardik Pandya on strike. And he's obviously trying to hit out instead of just getting Sky on strike, which really should have done. So he hits a couple of twos off the first two balls. And then he holds out. And then Deepak Hooda does pretty much the same thing, I think. Like he played a horrible shot to short fine leg. And then Washington Sundar, again, golden duck. So it was all they needed to do was have the sensible mindset to put the scariest man in white ball cricket back on strike. You'd think it's a bit of a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But I don't know if there was a bit of an ego from the other India batsman there, or just lack of match awareness. But it is mental how good Sky is right now. There was an article with the title in ESPN Cricket Info that said like Sky's playing anime cricket, and he is a bit like One Punch Man at the moment. He's so overpowered that eventually he's going to get bored playing against and with these teams because he is far and away the best batsman on that pitch, and he's playing with some of the greatest batsmen that have ever lived. Unreal. Absolutely.
His T20I strike rate currently, career T20I strike rate is 181.6.
Oh my goodness.
Like we normally say, right, 150 is a good T20I average. His T20 average is 149. We'd say that's great. But his T20I average is 181. So he's just
average
performing.
or strike rate?
Sorry, strike rate, sorry.
Yeah. Sorry.
His T20 strike rate is 149. His T20I strike rate is 181. It's like both of those, like 149 is a good number. 181 is a different level of incredible. And yeah, it's just phenomenal to see the trajectory that he's on at the moment. And he's also hit his two highest T20 scores in internationals.
Mm.
So he's hit
he's just hitting next levels, isn't he? I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
And I think if Sky wasn't playing, India score 140, 150 maybe, and then Kane has played the perfect knock to get 61 off 52. But when you need 192 to win, 61 off 52 isn't the best. Although it wasn't a bad innings actually from Kane. He was just kind of like, I'm going to bat properly. I'm going to bat as well as I can. And he's a great batsman, one of the best in the world. And yet it still wasn't enough. And he was just watching the rest of his team crumble around him, which is a shame because we've seen that New Zealand batting lineup do really good things in the 2020 World Cup. Glenn Phillips kind of, he just gave his wicket away. It was too early on his shot, and it was just skillful from Chahal, who I'm glad they played because Chahal showed his class. To go at hardly anything and over and pick up 2 wickets, like he should have played in the 2020 World Cup. I want people's thoughts on Deepak Hooda because he's kind of the one player you wouldn't expect to feature in the Indian side. Yet he's played a few games for them, and he's actually doing really well at the moment, especially not with the bat, but with the ball. I just don't see how he's getting all these wickets that he's getting.
He's actually a really skilled off-break bowler. I can remember when Punjab, were playing him, and back that's way before anybody thought he was halfway decent. He was, always down as an all-rounder, and I'd watch him bowl and I'd be like, he's not bad at all. Obviously, he gets tapped from some right-handed batsmen, but it is what it is when you're an off-break bowler in T20 and you don't have variations that can take it away, like somebody like Ashwin, for example. But no, he is actually a very skilled bowler, and it showed in his figures. Like 4 for, and there were good wickets. It bowled the death, which was interesting, but it worked. I was very impressed, and he's actually in any other side he'd get in. I think, especially if you look at his stats. Bloke averages 32 and T20Is at 150. If that's not getting into a side, then what is? But it's similar to Ben Duckett for England. Has done really well in the few performances that they've had. Just the amount of wealth of talent is overwhelming. What do you think about Boovi?
I was impressed with Boovi. I always think, I always enjoy watching him bowl. I think again in this game he did his job, bowled those 3 overs and bowled them really well, and was economical. That's the role that Boovi has. I think he's a real asset. He's been retained by Sunrisers, so I think he's a real asset going into the IPL. And it's good. He had a few lackluster performances in the IPL, and I think it's because he doesn't. He's not an out-and-out wicket taker. He is that contain and pressure type of bowler. But yeah, he was awesome. Boys, are there any Cricket Nerds questions for us to speak about?
Well, at the moment, because we're getting loads, which is great, keep them coming. We're going to pick maybe 1 or 2 each podcast that we do. So if your Cricket Nerd question doesn't feature, don't lose heart. It will be most likely answered in a future podcast. So stay tuned for them. But what have we got today, James?
So the first one we got, I'm going to take the lead on, but I do want your input as well. It's from Look Who's Watching, legend. And he's asked if Punjab Kings do not get Ben Stokes or Sam Curran, they should go for Jason Holder. He thinks that since Cameron Green is still a bit of an unknown entity and a volatile batsman, Punjab already has lots of volatile batsmen, so he doesn't really think that Cameron Green should be a target for them in the auction. So should Punjab, if they don't get Ben Stokes or Sam Curran, do you think Jason Holder is a shout? I don't think there is a situation where we should miss out on either Ben Stokes or Sam Curran. We've got so much money, and either of those two are worth it. I think, like, if they have to pay 17 crore, pay 17 crore. I think particularly somebody like Ben Stokes, who can really stabilise that middle order for us and offer bowling, and new ball bowling as well. I think that's going to be huge for Punjab. So that would be where I'd be erring to. But I don't think Jason Holder's bad at all, and I think he'd be very good. I just don't think that Punjab need to settle.
I think what Punjab need is a strong middle order influence. We talked about it on our retentions podcast. They need something to hold that middle order together. They've got the rest of it. They've got firepower with people like Rajapaksa, Bairstow, Shikadar at the top of the order. They just need that middle order. I mean, they've got Liam Livingstone, who you'd assume comes in as a finisher, trying to smash it around. If he gets going, he's a match winner. But they need someone else. I think what we're going to see is somebody like Shahrukh Khan play more of a front foot role for Punjab, which I know, James, you're not going to be too happy about, because we're going to see Shahrukh Khan play that role. We've seen him, up until his recent dip in form, play fantastically, but I think they need another player to support Shahrukh Khan, so I don't think they should be looking for that out-and-out fast bowling all-rounder, the Sam Curran, the Cameron Green, or the Jason Holder type of player. I think they should focus more on that middle-order batter who offers a bit of bowling as well.
I guess Punjab tend to go with the form options, which is what we saw last year, picking Odie and Smith, for example. So, yeah. But anyway, that has been our podcast. I hope you've enjoyed. Make sure you leave a like. Make sure you leave your Cricket Nerds questions. And also subscribe, tell your friends, listen to us on all those podcasting sites that you do. Listen to podcasts on. And make sure you follow us on social media. We are at Cricket Nerds Pod. And that is everything. So thank you so much. And we'll see you later.